Welcome, everybody. It is indeed another edition of Lincoln Talk Show. That is Navantrics Lincoln Talk Show. Today, I happen to be joined in by my special guest, Mr. Alfred A B Hayford. Trust me, this is the man that you want to know. When we're talking about technology, he's the right person that you need to talk to at the moment. So we're going to delve in more into his life and know how he has been able to take it from all the way where he started and then to another level of where he is moving it higher on that career that he has taken. So trust me, it's going to be educative, it's going to be more of information and very, very entertaining as well. I'm sure that, yes, it's going to also enlighten us to also take things that we also want to do seriously and also grow from there. Try as much as possible to also follow us on YouTube and subscribe to our pages, and also go up on social media like Facebook, on our Facebook handle, and also try to also like our pages as well. But today, it is time for Mr. Alfred A B Hayford. He is the CEO of Phaloc International and Altrac Tech, if I mention it right. Phaloc International and Altrac Tech.
Phaloc Incorporated and then Altrac.
Okay, it's incorporated. Okay, so you're welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you, Kwame.
Okay, so let's first and foremost start off, because I know people that are watching would like to know a bit about yourself. So can you just give us just a tidbit about who you are? Who is Mr. Alfred A B Hayford?
Okay, so I am a trained mechanical engineer from Cape Coast Technical University. My core competence actually is into water treatment technologies. Okay. Yeah, so I started working from the mines. So from the mines, I moved to the industry for 5 years before finally starting my first company, Altrac, and then subsequently starting Phaloc Incorporated just last year or so.
Okay, so if I understand perfectly well, you started with Altrac, and then what has been some of the inspirational moments? What really pushed you? Is it because you did that in school, so you felt like, you can really come out to really do something for yourself with your own company?
Actually, the core base or the major task of Altrac falls way outside my field of studies back in school. So I studied mechanical engineering, but Altrac is focused on telecom infrastructure, surveillance technology, and green energy. And I'm not an expert in any of these fields. I mean, beginning. So it was a greenfield, it was a very new platform that I studied. Even Phaloc is an e-commerce medicine stuff, of which I'm not an expert. So the two companies I'm managing are not companies that are engaged in things that I studied in school. It was a new field altogether.
Okay, so what are some of your objectives? Managing these two companies. What are some of your objectives that you are looking to put out there?
If you pick Phaloc, for example, I am a Pan-Africanist, and the core objective eventually is to bring Africa under a single and a very powerful umbrella, so that medication delivery doesn't become an issue. I mean, we have a lot of people who are going through innumerable and tedious sufferings just because they can't access what they can even purchase. So that was the very objective. Myself, I had to go through certain uncomfortable situations about 5 years ago when my father took ill. And for Phaloc, that was the inspiration, because I had to move from places to places looking for a just very simple medication. So I decided that when I got out of that situation, I was going to build something that will help others so they don't have to go through what I went through. And for Altrac, it's about securing our borders, securing our country. Most of the project that we engaged in has something to do with the security of Ghana as a whole. So that is the various objectives of these two companies that I manage.
Okay, so what is the challenge in there? Because the other one is for security, and then the other one is looking more for healthcare. So what are the challenges? How do you merge the two in working them all out hand in hand?
It's something else. So you have to be as malleable as you can, be able to adapt. First of all, you're coming from a different background, starting something in a different field, two different fields. Yeah. Okay. So this morning, for example, my meeting was on Phaloc. We're talking about our new interfaces and something we're doing. And then 2 hours after that, I have to have another meeting on Altrac, some challenges on site. So yes, for Altrac, for example, when I was starting, already I was telling a friend of mine, the errors that you are going to, make are genuine errors. I'm talking about that you make, that in your mind you think you're making a very good decision, and then you find out that it's a messed up thing. But then that is the beauty of entrepreneurship. You learn from your errors, and then you build on them, and you become a better person. So here I am. 4 years ago, it wasn't as it is now. And the only reason why we are here is because we have built on all the challenges, even finding the right people, committed people, how our brothers are in this part of the world, finding people who are committed and understand the vision of the company and are willing to work with you. In the case of Phaloc, when I started, I think I knew that it was a very complex field, medicine and the rest. So immediately I started, I actually assembled to myself people I knew were competent, medical doctors, a doctor of pharmacists, data analysts, IT personnel, and all of them bought into the vision. So the challenges I faced in Altrac was quite different from that of Phaloc, but from the beginning, I had people who understood the whole vision and were willing to participate.
Okay, thank you. Let me ask this question. If you're asked to choose one, would you consider yourself being a big picture person, or you are a detail-oriented person?
Very, very detail-oriented person. If you are managing a company like Phaloc, that people are going to stay in their homes and click on a form and make a request for something that they are depending on to get well, or they're depending on for their families to get well, you have to be very, very much detail-oriented so that the person knows that he can trust the app, And in case of Altrac, for example, if you're going to protect me, then I should know what you're about, and you should be very, very detail-oriented. Yeah.
Okay. So there's this other question that I want to know about you yourself. What was the difficult period in your life in doing all these companies together, and how did you resolve them?
Okay, so I think 2016, I lost my job. When I came from the mines, I had a job offer here, very good job offer. And 1 year down the line, I lost that job. And the whole plan that I had after that was to leave the country, until a friend of mine suggested that we start Altrac together. Now, he was already in the field of telecom infrastructure, so he was quite familiar with the do's and don'ts. And so I committed all my resources into starting this thing. So a few months down the line, he just went off because things were difficult. It's not easy raising something from the scratch. So that was one of the most difficult parts of my life as an entrepreneur, or as a young man who was starting something new. So the very person with whom you are starting and hoping that he will guide you to navigate carefully is gone. And then you are blind and you have to navigate things on your own. And then with the case of finances, in this part of the world, entrepreneurs would have to mobilize for themselves their own resources. There isn't a bank or any institution where you can fall on and discuss your concept with them and hope that they'll buy into it. So the resources aspect, the human resources aspect, the knowledge aspect, and the finances were things that I had to endure, the very difficult times I had to endure. Thank God that we learned from these stages, and now it is no longer as it was from the beginning.
Okay, so we want to know a bit of you in a certain dimension. You have come this far to really, to really get to this point. How has the feedback been for people that are now patronizing things from you? Like, let's say people that you are working hand in hand with them. What has been their feedback so far for you?
Okay, I think that if you pick Phaloc, for example, I think the feedback is a little bit, do I say on and off or cold or warm? Usually when you start something with a group of people, the whole hope is that they will think like you think, so they can sail together. But any successful entrepreneur will tell you that at the beginning, you certainly meet people who are committed to the cause, people who, even though are committed to the cause, may have different understanding or different approach as to how to embark on the same cause. So yes, there are some few hitches in there and there, but all together, I can say that the feedback has been positive because myself, I'm willing to change, I'm willing to adapt. I mean, but for that characteristics, I couldn't have come this far. For you to be able to adapt and to recognize other people's input and to be able to adjust in order to sell to wherever you intend to go. So the feedback has been fair, I must say.
So I was looking into your Phaloc website, and I could tell that there's even a software to it, and it's a health software. What has been some of the inspiration that got you in there? I know you made mention of you had an issue with your dad's health, and it got you there. Aside your dad, what in making it happen, what other factors did you also consider to also come to a point to say, bringing this app on board is going to help as many people as possible, especially if not for people here in the urban areas, maybe back in the villages. What was running through your head at that time, considering lots of factors in making that happen?
Okay, so I pay attention a lot. I just pay attention a lot, and I know that I have witnessed. I mean, I have noticed over the past few years that gradually Africa is rising, and the single shed under which we all must prosper is becoming quite visible. And then I noticed that there is a call for the African youth to be innovative. There's a call for the African entrepreneur to think outside his local country. So anytime you see that the demand and the call and the desire for us to break off from the shackles of yesterday and to do something that our predecessors were unable to do, you just feel it that you have to think. So, for example, Phaloc and Altrac are not the only things I'm engaged in. The only thing I'm engaged in publicly, but there are others. So for me, the inspiration is quite Pan-African. It's quite continental. There is this desire, there is this growing, burning, desire. There's this growing concern that we must come together. We must think. We must be able to identify our problems and solve them. Somebody says that African problems require African solutions. So we understand that we're not living in a very developed country, unlike other countries where you can access medication everywhere, anytime. And so if we are not living in that system, then what can we do? In the case of this government, I think they even did this drone delivery stuff, which was a very So always you look at where the country is and where you think you can be, and then that becomes something strong to push you to think as what you can contribute to make it happen. Yeah.
Okay, so are you satisfied with how far that you have come with these two companies?
I would say no. Well, I would say no, because then for Phaloc, for example, when we started, it was like a curve. I think we went up a little bit, and then there was, we caved in just a bit, but then we are ascending again. The challenges that are obscuring us from hitting our goal are quite clear, and we have the solution to address them. So for Altrac, I think it's okay, because to be involved in national level project, I think it's quite okay. For Phaloc, I'm not impressed all that much because of where we want to be, what is national level, before we even think of going outside Ghana. So not bad, but I think it's okay.
Are you looking forward in creating more awareness to Phaloc and also to the Altrac incorporators as well?
In the case of Phaloc, I think we are about to launch a 2.0 version that is quite very, very detailed, aimed at replacing, the physical pharmacist, and the whole aim is to integrate every pharmacy in a country to the system, and you take into consideration the differences in all those stuff. So we are launching it in about a week or two from now, and then we have to invest massively into creating the awareness that you don't necessarily have to walk around and hop from one place to the other looking for just drug A or drug B, and that you can fall on an app. And also to the pharmaceutical industries too, we have to also create the awareness that you can make more money, you can reach out to a lot of clients, virtual clients, and still make certain income by working with Phaloc, selling your drugs through Phaloc. So yes, our latest objective now is to create the awareness. I know a lot of people don't know, so we have to invest more into creating awareness so they can also participate.
yes, at least this is the platform that you need to be, so that we can also do our best to also showcase what you have concerning things that you want to do with Phaloc. Yes, before we proceed, let me ask this question before we look into the future for the company and yourself. I want to know, the Phaloc app, that is the health app, is it only for the elite people, or it's just for everybody? Everybody can have access to it.
Yeah, it's for everybody, and in our case, it's for everybody to the point where those who, for some reasons, cannot use the app can still benefit from the app. We have this option we call Buy for a Friend, where I can be in the UK or I can be everywhere in the West or Europe, and so buy medication on the app for my father here in Ghana or for my children here in Ghana, and just indicate where the medication should be sent. So for the participation, literally everybody at all can participate, can benefit from the app, those who are of age and those who are not of age. So the interface is very friendly.
Yes, so a lot of people, a lot of youth are also into entrepreneur as well, and they are also doing their own businesses to improve, to grow much bigger. I want you to give me 3 positive things that you would advise people that want to be like you, people that want to go into the world of entrepreneurship. What is the 3 positive advice that you're going to give them?
Okay, so usually when someone comes up with a concept or an idea that is very unique, that idea is given just to that individual. Now, one of the biggest errors we make is that even though the concept or the idea is gifted to us, oftentimes we listen to others to whom this idea wasn't given. What I would say is that when you are blessed enough to conceive something, you have to know that it belongs to you and you alone. And the mandate or the task of conveying that vision or that concept to the end solely falls on you, until such a time you find people who are equally gifted to send it there. So you cannot be discouraged, first of all, even by your closest friend who didn't conceive this concept, but you did. Okay, so the first thing is that if you were able to birth it, bring it out, then you have the responsibility to take it to the end. Under no circumstances must the opinions, particularly if it is aimed at discouraging you, be related. If it was given to you, then it is yours mandate, so it's your own task to take it to the end. Now, the second thing I would say is that we are not supposed to expect people to understand the vision that are given to us. It doesn't work that way. If you are fortunate, you may meet people who are unique helpers, but oftentimes you don't meet them. And so the fact that you understand something you birth does not necessarily mean that the people around you, even your own family, must understand it. Eventually, when you get it to the end, they will appreciate it. But until then, don't expect anyone at all to understand what you were given. That is also very, very important. And then I think the third thing I have to also stress on is that when you are driving a car, for example, and you are heading towards a very beautiful destination, irrespective of how uncomfortable the car is or how uncomfortable the road is, usually your mind is focused on where you are going, the destination. And anytime you are able to conceive a concept, be able to link today's idea to tomorrow's future, and then be able to try as much as to live in that future, so that you are not bothered by the present circumstances. If you can focus very well on where you think you can be in the next 2 decades, then the circumstances now will not deter you from embarking on that vision. Oftentimes we take our mind off the trophy, and then we focus so much on the current challenges. It doesn't have to be so. When I conceived Phaloc, I was an engineer in another company. And when I finally landed Phaloc, 6 months down the line, we were nominated for award by Robert Africa. But do you really think that everybody I discussed this with understood it? Or, I mean, I conceived that feature. And even that is just the beginning. So there has to be some ambition. And then aim that until you get to that point, you are not giving up. That's my last point.
Okay. I would love you to leave your details and maybe social media handles, contacts that people might also love to contact you more on, maybe to know more on your Phaloc app, and the Altrac tech as well, because people want more education on it. I'm sure maybe your social media information to also help as well. So if you don't mind, you can also drop it up on there. Just let me give you a minute that you can do your own advert.
You can reach me on LinkedIn, Alfred A B Hayford, as you rightly mentioned earlier. I'm also on Facebook, and my contact is 0240584643. On few occasions, I have been contacted by people seeking certain kind of assistance, and if I can, I always offer them. So you can buy any of these three things I just mentioned. You can also send me an email on abhayford@phaloc.com.
Okay, so guys, you just heard it all, and this is what he said. Follow him on Facebook. You can also, he left his contact. I'm sure through it all, watching it over and over again, you're going to get his contact. And aside that, we are still going to advertise his stuff up here on Navantrics Link and Talk Show. So this is where we wrap up for today's interview. Try as much as possible to meet us on another epic interview right here on Navantrics Link and Talk Show. That is very, very important to us. Like I said, try as much as possible to also go up on our social media handles and go like our pages. Follow us up on YouTube as well, and subscribe and watch more epic interviews that is coming up. It's going to inspire you, it's going to inspire me, it's going to help us all grow. Before then, I would say thank you so much, Mr. Alfred A B Hayford. It was awesome having you today, and we really honored to really to have you bless Navantrics Link and Talk Show today. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for having me. I'm very grateful for your time. Very grateful.
Okay, so yes, we're also grateful. Thank you, guys. So this is where we end today's edition. Join us same time for another, like I said, another epic interview. It is going to inspire me, it's going to inspire you, and we're all going to go together. Same time. God bless. Thank you.